Welcome to Two Balls and a Mic. We are here back with our series, Two Balls and a Comic. We are very fortunate to be welcomed by the host of the new podcast, The World on Drugs. It's fantastic. There's one episode out. We're going to get into it, maybe get into other sports-related criminals. Hopefully you go into a little bit of rabbit hole. We're going to go ahead and welcome the great Scuba Steve Fuery. How are you doing?
Here, I like your backdrop. Was that a Bruno Fernandes jersey?
Yes,
Nice.
sir.
Bruno Fernandes.
Finally Manchester got someone good. I swear to God, everyone we signed doesn't do shit. Johnny Van Der Beek hasn't done anything.
You're a Man U fan? I did not know that.
I like Man U. I'm not. You know, I just follow too many sports, and then soccer's just so fucking big. There's so many leagues and everything. It's really hard to keep up. But I try to. I mean, I play FIFA a lot, so. I kind of keep up that way, I'd say.
Yeah, no, I mean, we noticed right now, you know, got up for a cold one, and we noticed that you had yourself a sweet gaming chair. You got the ring light in the back. I don't know if you want to show everybody. Today's the first episode that you have a comfortable chair.
Yep.
You got it. Nice,
buddy. I'm too big for it, though, but it's fine.
Yeah, my girl got me this for my, I think Christmas. She upgraded my game, and it's nice. I mean, I'm an adult with a gaming chair, so it's a little embarrassing at the same time, but
fine.
But it works for what it is. As long as it doesn't like one of those ones that like goes back and then you're just like weightless playing video games like some sort of fucking lima bean, then I think I'm okay.
I mean, you know, this is a great place to start, and didn't foresee starting with soccer, but hey, we'll start here. Have you had a chance to catch Ted Lasso? It's a great series on Apple Plus. Jason Sudeikis. I hear great reviews from it. I remember the sketch from SNL was great, or the little NBC short that the sports that they had was fantastic. So I hope it's more of that. But
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like I feel like streaming services are almost like soccer. There's like different leagues popping up all over, and there's like one team and one fucking streaming thing that I have to get to know. And I'm like, I can't do it all. I'll stick with the Premier League, Hulu, Bundesliga, Netflix. And then maybe a Tubi TV, which would probably be the MLS if I get really, really desperate.
No, I mean, soccer's honestly, for me, it's probably the greatest sport. It's like you said, it's just so many leagues, so much stuff to follow. I mean, streaming services. Have you downloaded Peacock? Peacock's pretty much dominated for the Premier League. I mean, can't really watch any other games without it. Do you have Peacock?
No, I don't have Peacock, but I'm kind of on that little dirtbag shit where I do the streaming stuff I do like NBA Byte, and that normally gets me
that's
football games and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, no, that NFL Byte, NBA Byte, Reddit. I mean, I think we shouldn't be talking about it. It's like Fight Club. We really shouldn't be talking about it because that's how shit gets taken down. But those
Reddit got taken down. It was such a sad day when they fucking took Reddit streaming down. I was like, oh my god.
The soccer streams does live somewhere on the internet. Again, not giving anybody any ideas, not condoning it. Please go ahead and buy the products, but I think they have enough of our money. But I mean, those streaming things. I mean, you're again, an adult. So you remember when there was no such thing as streaming, like back when you had now that I can watch a perfectly HD Red Zone or anything on my phone all day and doesn't kill my battery is a small miracle.
Yeah, but to be honest, I kind of grew up on kind of the dirt ball. Like I had a black box growing up. So like, which was like the legal streaming stuff. So like, I've never really been pro paying Comcast any money at all. But yeah, I mean, it's nice now. I mean, God, what's the one that gives you like everything? It's orange and you can have it on your. I don't know. One of my buddies gave me and that was like the best thing I've ever had. But once it's on your phone, I just end up pooping. I just poop for like 2 hours.
Oh yeah, no, like it's insane. The average time a human being must spend on the toilet from now to say 30 years ago is just a giant difference. Like from shampoos to literally a novel
or TikTok. Literally just scrolling through
TikTok,
man.
So good. Your legs will just fall asleep. I don't even know. Time passes. There should be like, they should study the physics of time with TikTok because I don't believe that it doesn't pass way fucking faster. Because it's like, I've watched 6 videos. How's it 5 hours later and it's 6 a.m. right now and I got to go to, well, I don't have to go to work, but
No, I mean that TikTok world is just absolutely wild. It's the Wild West out there. Like some things catch on, some things don't. I see trends on there that live for 30 seconds. Somebody becomes a millionaire, and you never hear from them again. I know you're on TikTok as well. How's that going for you?
Pretty terrible. I just don't think I don't think I'm the guy that TikTok wants to see. Like, I don't think like 14-year-olds want to see some like out of shape 32-year-old man talking on their phone. They want to see like really hot girls, or I don't know. They just don't enjoy. Plus, I don't want to do the trends. I just think that's so corny, especially as like an adult. To like, I'm like dancing to whatever's happening that day. Trying too hard is something I don't really want to do.
So how, I mean, again, but at the same time, you're in the entertainment business, right? So you kind of have to keep up with the trends. So especially now, usually a regular at the comedy store, just incredibly well known in the comedy business. But right now
Yeah.
there is none of that. So you have to resort to those tactics per se.
Well, honestly, the most interesting thing about TikTok is we don't know how that's going to correlate to ticket sales. You can pretty much, in my industry, you can tell how many tickets you're going to sell by your Instagram numbers. You get to about $150 to 200, you're probably getting close to selling out 2 to 3 shows. But if you've noticed, a lot of the people, I've got friends, especially in comedy, I've got friends that have $1.5 million on TikTok. I
Oh
got
shit.
friends that I got a lot of friends that got 100K, but then on Instagram, they still only got like 5,000 people. So it's like, I don't know. The TikTok thing might just be something that people don't really invest in your life as much as they do on Instagram or something like that. But it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, I got one guy that was just a total open micer, and he did some videos and they just took off. And it's also interesting to see what videos TikTok decides take off stand-up
Yeah.
wise.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like
Yeah.
sometimes it's just like a guy at an open mic, and you're like, why the fuck does this have 4 million views?
Exactly. Yep.
I mean,
I don't get it. I don't get it because I mean, we post sometimes on TikTok, and it's more on me. I'm posting more. I posted a video of this guy
one.
saying like, "Oh, guess who this person is?" And he guessed that it was Carson Wentz. Got like 9,000 views. And then I post a video of me doing something else, 150 views. I'm like, fuck you guys. You guys just want Tony.
I mean, that's exactly what the viewers want. Everybody in
The
China,
TikTok algorithm.
China sees the brown one. They're like, that one's better.
Brown one. So I know on TikTok you have,
Carson Wentz stuff.
yeah, you have a TikTok that was about the Bad Kings uniforms.
Oh yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
I tried. I was like, okay, let's do something like that. Let's do some kind of shit. And I mean, it didn't really work. I mean, it's just the TikTok's really a problem because my Instagram just does better, and it's like, all right. And then once you start posting on TikTok, because I posted for a while and nothing was catching on, it kind of just seems like a man yelling in a dark room, and you're kind of just like, just leave the room. No one's listening in that room. You need to go. So I'm literally thinking, I've almost decided that I'm either going to kill myself or join Clubhouse. So I'm not sure which one yet.
I hear great. Everybody's on it. Everybody's getting on it. Everybody who's supposed to be on it is already on it. The trend is heading that way. I still have no idea. I've gotten invitations. I don't know what it is. Do you know what it is?
What?
Clubhouse?
No.
You just talk to strangers and people listen to you. And I don't know why people would want to do that. One of my least favorite things to do is talk to strangers. So I don't know why I'd want to go on an app solely based on that.
Yeah.
I mean, YouTube. But like,
you got
after
them too now.
a show
You're
or
fine.
something, it's nonsense.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think I've earned it. Once we get that tuna handoff is something special because
Yeah, I think we got 2 of those tuna handoffs.
So you did. So I mean, probably our biggest thing is a mention on Bert's stories, which is no small feat. We got what, like 70 followers.
Almost
Thank you,
100
Bert. But it was because I reached out to Dave Williamson, who has been on the podcast before, and we started to talk, and I knew that you guys were going to come down to San Marcos, close enough to here to San Diego. So I'm like, hey, I know you're a barbecue guy. Have you ever had smoked tuna fish or smoked tuna? Like, no. So I made sure to get him a pound, $39.99 per pound at Point Loma Seafood. So Look,
Pricey.
Quality shit.
it's worth it. It's 100% worth. That's why I never spend it on you.
Just for strangers.
Yeah,
You
it's
gotta
just
go
for
to Clubhouse.
strangers, absolute strangers.
Just
And
for IG shout outs.
hey, it worked. I got a couple bags full of my limones, my lemon tree in the back, because obviously every Mexican has a tree in the back. And so those were the lemons that went with it. And so we did the handoff. Dave was absolutely plastered. I don't know how he found us. But we went back and
He's very skilled. He's a very skilled drunk. Like I wouldn't say Dave like gets drunk all the time, but when he does, it's like college drunk. But he's still there. He still functions. He's like cooking and wrestling and just being Dave, and it's really great.
so, I mean, yeah. And then we did the handoff and I told him, hey, let me know how it is. Just let the guys have it. Just leave it there. Put some lemon on it and you'll be fine. Can you take it from there? What was your experience?
Pure nirvana. I felt there was no reason to keep living if I'd already reached the highest point that I was ever going to be. It was truly a treat. I'm a huge fan of, jerky or smoked salmon or anything like that. I just pick like it's just so good. And that was just, man, it makes me, I mean, I'm going down to San Diego in a couple of weeks and I think I might stop there. This is a question.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever been to, I've been trying to go, I go to restaurants a lot. It's like my biggest thing. I try to, when COVID wasn't happening, I'll go to like 2 or 3 new ones a week. And it's not like I'm going out and bawling out like at a real restaurant. I'll go to like a taco shop. Have you guys ever been to Tutano Taqueria? Tuetano. They got these, they're supposed to be like one of the original birria bone marrow tacos in San Diego.
Tuétano.
Interesting.
Here in San Isidro. Oh, I know exactly where it is. Okay, so you are going like you can throw a rock into Tijuana. Like that's
really?
as
It's that
close
far?
as it is. Yeah, so you're going up there. I'd say go for it. I would also recommend if you're going for those type of, just good home hole in the wall in a way spots. There's also Cuatro Milpas. You're going to find a line either way, hopefully socially distanced. But there's countless birria tacos here. There's also one called Fernandez Birria, like a block away, which is 3 miles from that one. So
are they making tortillas though? Because to me, that's like where you really separate a lot of like the Mexican spots in LA is if the guy's making the tortilla, even if it's just a woman on the little press thing, it just makes such a difference.
Oh, 100%. And see, that's how you know, because not everybody asks for the tortillas. Some people are salsa people. If you get that homemade sauce, have you made it to TJ to actually eat some tacos?
That's my thing, man. I need some help on the TJ thing because I got buddies, a couple comics of mine. They're into prostitutes. I'm not a prostitute guy.
Yeah.
I enjoy
To each their
the
own.
food, and then I enjoy that the pharmacies you can get whatever you want.
Yes.
So I love TJ for that thing. But I would love after this if you want to send me a list of some San Diego taco spots, and then some TJ ones. What I did do one time in San Diego is I went on a tour I was working at the Comedy Store in La Jolla, and I went to 6 different California burrito places.
Yes, that's a very smart strategy because from what I hear from my girlfriend went to UCLA for a little bit and I visited up there. It is a sad state of burritos up there. Like there's nothing like it here in San Diego.
Town.
They can't figure it out.
Town.
Yeah, it's a definitely taco town. But here in San Diego, we have everything that everybody wants as far as burritos. Like, but just go a little bit north into LA. I don't know. They can't figure it out.
I think it's the tortilla thing. I think a lot of the spots in San Diego have better tortillas. I don't know if they're like just getting them from a different place, but they're chewier and they're stretchier. A lot of the ones here are just kind of like the ones in the pack, and it's like doesn't really sit you off. I mean, as long as they're doing the al pastor spit, I'll put up with anything, especially when they cook it a little longer. But I mean, the al pastor thing is pretty good, and they don't really have that anywhere else other than Southern California, and that's got to be one of my favorite things. Oh.
Yeah, no, I've always.
Oh man,
yeah,
I'm getting hungry already.
I mean, I'm always hungry, but I've always said that if everything goes wrong in my life, one of two things: either I'm just gonna go the way of Steve, and just off it. I won't. But because I know I can go to Ohio and have a carne asada spot and it's going to blow everybody's mind. Like, I don't know why that's not a thing. Why more Mexicans aren't migrating. And when they do the hard shell thing. Like, no, you know how to make it. Don't be lazy. Like, open up a little cart in the middle of Michigan with some birria in the winter.
Damn.
Millionaire. I mean,
That's literally my dream. Literally my dream. And this is one of. I mean, my dream is stand up and everything. That's fine. But I mean, when I make a little more money, I want to open a spot in Sacramento, California, called Abuelas, and we only hire old grandmas.
That's what's up.
And they make the tacos there, and then each grandma each week gets to like do one of their own dishes. We give them a cut of whatever the money they make for their own dish, and just because it's just like, I just think the best idea is just what you said, is to take the food that's in Southern California, take it somewhere else, and just blow people's minds.
Yeah, and people say, oh, it's the meat. It's not. Like, you can get any type of steak cut. What it is garlic, salt, maybe just salt, pepper, and carbon on the grill. That's all you need. If that's something that you're gonna go ahead and need, we'll help you. I will say that you have to have everybody saying, "Oh, mijo." You have to call everybody mijo, like regardless of who comes in. Oh, mijo, take a seat. Oh, mijo, you've had 10 tacos. Oh, no. You look very thin, mijo. Here's another batch. Boom. You're just gonna keep people there. It's gonna be an endless cycle.
We want to leave.
Yeah, no, that's
you
a
got
great
grandmother's
idea.
love and recipes. I mean, it's just money in the bank.
Yeah, no, that's. I think we're on the wrong business right now.
Menudo, everything, man.
Do you venture into those other Mexican dishes?
I'm more of a pozole guy.
Yes.
The menudo just kind of. I'm just not a tripe guy. It kind of just grow. I mean, I just don't need to eat it.
There's fucking animal honeycomb in it. Like, what the fuck is that all about?
I look at it and I pull it up. It's just like
Yeah, no,
But I like the
pozole is the
pozole.
way to go.
I think I got a couple decent recipes on it. I try to ask a lot of my Hispanic friends and get stuff. Like a pork pozole is probably my favorite Mexican soup. I can't really say the albodongas, the meatballs. That was
Albondigas.
cool. Yeah, albondigas. That one's not my favorite. But
If you ever go to Guadalajara,
Oh, okay. Well, all right. We're starting from TJ. Now we're going to
if you
Guadalajara.
ever go there, there's a thing called tortas ahogadas. And what it is, it's a torta. It's like you put the meat, and they just literally shower it on the salsa.
They waterboard it pretty much.
It's like it's fucking delicious, man.
I
It's
don't
so
like
great.
wet bread because I've had those tortas here where they kind of put them in the birria juice. I just don't like wet bread. It kind of weirds me out.
I can see that, but man, it'll change your
different.
life. It'll change your life.
But nothing changes the life as much as smoked tuna jerky. So smoked tuna jerky. There was a second one. I went over to a very, very nice, very beachfront house, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and drop a second one off. Let me know. Here's the package, and then I'm texting everybody who I know. I'm like, hey guys, I'm outside. Hey guys, I'm outside. I'm like, okay, and then I don't remember. Trevor comes by. Travis.
Oh, yeah.
Trevor. So Trevor comes by. Cool looking dude. Camera. Hey, how's it going? For Dave? Yeah. All right, I'll go get him. Everybody's knocked out. I'm like, all right, well, here you go. Tell him. I said thank you. So it gets wild with you guys. I can't imagine. Oh, look.
Cat doesn't leave me alone.
So is the smoked tuna just as good hungover as it is drunk, or?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't really make it. I mean, he gave us a decent amount, especially on the second time. It was just perfect. It was perfect for a midday snack too, you know? It was just a fantastic day, the fantastic trip. I mean, Bert got that big ass beachside mansion pretty much.
Yeah.
And then we just ate. The really great thing is like when me and Dave kind of combined, because Dave is honestly one of the best barbecue cooks I've ever met in my life. Man takes it. But he's kind of like, if you ever play video games and you're like starting a character out and you just put all the stats and strength and then you just have nothing else going on in intuition or constitution or mana. So it's like his is all barbecue, and it's all barbecue pork and beef. Chicken's okay too, but the pork and beef are like, I mean, the best shit I've ever had. So then when he and I combined, I do the vegetables, and it's just a really great fucking time. And then the tuna just kept us good while we just.
Oh yeah.
You know, honestly, he doesn't like. They don't really drink during the day that much.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll maybe have a couple beers. Most of the time, Bert would do it after the show. Maybe he'll have one during the show because he does try to respect the show as much as possible.
Yeah.
Whereas I'll probably start at like 6 o'clock.
And it was a great show. I can't think of anything that just brightened my quarantine up. I'll say, just because it was just something different, and props to Bert for having, honestly, the courage to even do this.
Yeah, he was pretty much the guy that thought of it and the guy that did all these drives. And if you don't know what happened, this guy named Bert Kreischer, he's a big comic. He started this doing shows in drive-in movie theaters, and which is actually a little bit harder than you think, because a lot of these movie theaters are kind of failing and they're not around anymore. So what happens is there was a couple production companies, one of them called Hotbox, which one of the best production companies I've ever worked with. They had contracts with all these drive-in movie theaters for techno shows, EDM, so that people could, take Molly and acid and dance and then watch these crazy things on the signs. So then once Bert hooked up with these guys, they already had all the places hooked up and they already had all the equipment. And then I believe Bert last year was the #1 touring act in the world, like counting like U2 and shit like that. Mainly because like U2 and the Rolling Stones weren't doing anything.
Yeah, no, they're a different vaccine timeline too.
But it was also, San Marcos, some places were pretty shitty, but San Marcos was really great. You guys were a great crowd. You could feel the warmth from the crowd. And that can, it can be sometimes hard when sometimes it feels like you're telling jokes to a used car lot. But San Marcos came with some vibes, and it was a really great time. It was a blessing, honestly, to be involved at all.
And there were some shenanigans. I mean, if you kept up with everybody on Instagram, at Scuba Steve Fuery, correct? On Instagram, you could tell that you guys had an absolute blast. There was, tell me some of the, athletic competitions that were you involved in any of them? I know you guys even had a chance to play on an NBA court at some point. Like, it's just the best time.
The way I like to describe being with Bert is like being at like a rich kid's birthday party. Like, it's like their thing, but also I'm riding a horse, or like skydiving, or like hanging out with rappers and shit. I mean, some of the stuff we did hikes in Sedona. He also loves to work out too. He loves to get some kind of stuff in. So, and he makes content. So a lot of the stuff he's doing is like creating content for his YouTube channel. So what I did, we did some hikes in Sedona. We did, what else did we do? We did barbecue tours of the South, just like everywhere, going to all the best barbecue places. And there's a large correlation between people who like barbecue and Bert Kreischer fans.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So like we just got the whole thing come out. We played basketball on like NBA courts. There's just always a thing to do during the day. It's never like chilling during the show. It's like, we're going to wake up, we're going to go create some content for the YouTube channel. And it's just a blessing to even be involved. And he's just like such a cool, generous guy that, this is my first time ever touring with him. I used to work with this guy named Bobby Lee and a guy named Pablo Francisco and stuff. And those guys are amazing. But, I felt like a rock and roll star when you're on a tour bus.
I like how he said he has friends that likes prostitutes, but then he didn't mention it. But then he follows up with Bobby Lee. So, I think you just kind of unmasked him right there. The legendary San Diegan.
Probably back in the day, Bobby might have done that.
100%.
But now, I mean, I think he loves Kalila, and then also, I mean, I haven't toured with him in a little while, but he also is just, he wakes up at like 2 p.m., plays video games, and he'll go to the show, and then after Bobby will just take you out to. He's just restaurants, and it's like we'll go to Benihana's, and then it's just me and him, and he'll go, I'll take every appetizer we'll get, and then he'll order like he'll get the surf and turf one, and then he'll just get like 6 things. There's just like an insane amount of food comes out, and then I mean they're all really great guys, to be honest with you. Luckily I've been able to work with a lot of just high class guys. That's kind of the comedy thing is there's this big pressure on being good to your openers, and you're doing that kind of so that once they become big, they'll be good to their openers. And it's a very nice communal thing in the comedy community, and I've been lucky enough to work with my idols and some of the best guys in the business.
Yeah, so I mean, you did that, and now you're back home, and you started a podcast, which you just dropped the episode for, called "The World on Drugs." So how did that first episode go? I know you mentioned that you learned how to do cut pro or something like that, and you said it was
That's how you know that I do all the fucking
yeah.
editing.
He does all the editing. So and you
you
mentioned
do
that
the
it's
editing?
fucking
Pretty
hard.
good.
So
You use Final Cut Pro or you Adobe?
I go ahead and use iMovie.
Oh, what is it?
iMovie.
Oh, not bad though.
Hey,
man. If you
right?
can
Hey.
a movie.
It works. It
Yeah,
works.
no.
It gotten us to talk to Steve Fuery. All right.
yep.
All right. So fuck off.
No, so I mean, he tells me all the time that oh man, I'm learning this, I'm learning that. So tell us about how difficult was it for you to learn the editing?
I mean, so I went from like a guy who never even really had a computer to I bought, a really nice computer, MacBook Pro, and then I got Final Cut. And learning Final Cut is like learning fucking math again. I don't know anything that's going on. I'm just on YouTube searching up videos,
Yes.
trying to do my best. And it's coming. It's slowly coming. I can see with each episode it gets better. The podcast World on Drugs is kind of a lot. There's a lot of podcasts that are crime podcasts, but this one really tries to more look at famous drug dealers and gangs and stuff like that you've never heard of. Our first episode was about Dawood Ingraham Kaskar, and you've never heard of this guy, but he is the second richest gangster of all time. He's a guy from India, grew up as a street urchin, which is just like roaming bands of kids in India. Wow. And then at the end, he's one of the main funders of Al Qaeda in the Pakistani ISI. So it's like it's kind of just, I love drug dealers. I used to be a drug dealer. I love drugs. I love crime. I thought, why not mix the two things with some comedy? And then we're gonna have some pretty big guests come on pretty soon. But it's a really fun thing, and it's a lot more work than I was really hoping. But
no, I mean, and I watched the first episode, and it is exactly that. Like I see myself in you just through that first episode, just because you do such a good job. You want everything to be so well that it is. But as you get further, you're gonna look back and be like, oh wow, like I could have done this shortcut. Or
yeah, that was dog shit what I did the first time. I can already see it now. I was editing too close. But you learn. It's just like almost learning another language. It's like I literally thought about like taking a community college class or some shit on video editing and trying to learn it, but those aren't really on right now. So I'm just on YouTube creeping out on like 16-year-old kids telling me how to fucking work on this program.
I had a moment where I needed to find out if something was going to be compatible with the GoPro that we use, and the way I found it was a Korean dude that had like 12 GoPros and 12 fake GoPros speaking nothing but Korean, subtitles in Korean, but I just needed to figure out if the setting was something, and I figured it out thanks to that dude. And it was like the 12th page, and I found it, and I was like, wow, here we go. The beauty of YouTube. Like it's
I
great.
had this one like autistic kid that taught me a lot, but I cannot find him again. And I'm like looking up like autistic Final Cut Pro kid. Not coming up, but he was great for when it lasted.
100%. But there are a lot of criminals, as you say, like crime and drug dealers. Are you familiar with what am I saying? Are you familiar with Osama bin Laden? Of course you are. But did you know? Yeah, popular guy in the East Coast. Did you?
Oh shit!
Our base in New York.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He was a huge soccer fan, like a crazy soccer fan. And I don't know, we were talking about it earlier. Soccer really does bring everybody together. Like
It really does.
you can bring Osama bin Laden together. He was a huge Arsenal supporter.
Oh,
So
There's a few, there's a few Saudi Arabian guys. I think there's a Saudi Arabian guy who owns Manchester City.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to say anything bad about Saudi Arabia, but pretty fucking shady.
Yeah.
And,
No.
So
A lot of oil money.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, the money, and then a lot of slavery, and they're kind of.
That's why they have so
probably
many good players
actually-
right now.
I mean, most of the people that actually crashed the plane into the towers were Saudi Arabian.
yeah. Statistically, right?
Yeah, statistically,
100%.
but they're just so rich and so entrenched in our government with oil money that we don't ever go against them for some reason.
And it's not like we're doing anything good with it. Like, look, Pablo Escobar. You're a fan of Pablo Escobar, right?
9/11 is the reason Manchester City's a good team now.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That guy, yeah.
Thanks, Bin Laden.
But Jesus.
Yeah, I'm also trying with the podcast trying to find people, because we've all heard about the Cali cartel,
Yeah, 100%.
and Pablo Escobar and all these guys, and like every documentary you see a new show, it kind of just goes over the same people, and it's like I'm trying to go into some different people. The guy we're working on right now, kind of a little bit of a problem because he was so good and he's so incognito. His name's Say Lee Chop. He is a Canadian and Chinese national, and he makes what the UN's crime and drug whatever says. They estimate that he makes 50 to 70% of the world's methamphetamines.
Oh shit!
And you've never even fucking heard of this guy, and that's the kind of shit that's like, let's put that to the light, because the guy's definitely great. He looks like, my favorite thing is, you guys ever gamble? Do you like to gamble?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know when you go to like an Indian casino and you sit down at a blackjack table and there's like, there's everybody, and then next to you there's like an old Chinese man wearing like old sweats and he's got like 40K in chips.
Yes. Yes.
That was this guy. He like never flashed, never did anything, but then he fucked up a couple times when he lost 66 million in like a Moroccan casino, and that flagged some shit, and then that kind of spun to his downfall. But it's just like, I just like learning about criminals. I used to be kind of a little shithead criminal, and it's just stuff that interests me. When I was a kid playing with toys, I always liked the bad guys more than I liked the good guys.
Yeah, no, they're the more interesting ones. I'm a huge wrestling fan, the heel is the most interesting guy. That's the one you're there every time. In boxing, Floyd Mayweather. That's why people pay to see him, to try to say somebody. Conor McGregor, but see, Conor McGregor, you get to see his ass beat more often now than not. So there you go, and it's a millionaire willingly getting his ass beat. So that's. I mean,
he doesn't even need to fight anymore. The amount of money he makes off that proper 12.
Yeah.
Is like, I see why he doesn't give a fuck. And then is he fighting Jake Paul?
I mean, it's still up in the air. I mean, the Mayweather and the Logan Paul one is up in the air now.
That one's happening, I think.
Is it really happening? Yeah. I mean, this is where the sport of boxing is. I come up from a proud tradition of Mexican boxers. Eric El Terrible Morales, Juan Pablo Barrera. You had Margarito. Oscar. After the fishnets thing, it's kind of like, all right, you're over there.
Okay, you got Canelo.
Yeah, but
Canelo.
Canelo is he's getting there. But even then, he's the only
best
guy
one right now.
But no, like the state of boxing is just, it's a TikTok right now. Like it's in that hemisphere. The most serious boxing,
like a carnival act now.
Yeah, and even the thing Tyson's pulling off. Like, do I really want to see Tyson and Roy Jones kind of
spar?
Yeah, spar, and it's just this AARP match here and there. Like, no, that's not what we need to see. We need to see hungry, poor people coming up and beating the shit out of people. That's why Andy Ruiz was such a great story. He looked like you and me, and he's out there destroying the guy that looks like a Killmonger in Black Panther. Like,
then he just partied too hard. He took that shit too fun. Then didn't he get his ass whooped on his next fight?
Yeah, he got his ass whooped, and
he came back being fat as fuck, and he looked like he's been doing like blow and drinking fucking Casamigos for like 3 months.
And again, but even then, that story's fascinating. It's sad, but it's interesting. You're invested. I think he's gonna fight again, and they're charging $75 for this pay-per-view. What is boxing doing?
That's you know what, that it seems like they need to get more in the conscious of people, rather than paying a bunch of money for the small amount of people that really want to watch it. I mean, also, it just kind of bums me out and bums a lot of people out about boxing. It's like so damaging to your fucking head.
Yeah.
It's like rough, everyone, not many people come out of that being too cognizant of their surroundings. Whereas like MMA, you might break your leg or some shit, but you're probably going to be 65 and being able to hold a conversation. Like Chuck Liddell, he can still talk normal.
Sharp.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I mean, you were talking about Pablo Escobar. And then just, I mean,
El compa.
The influence that some of these criminals can have in sports is amazing. It amazes me. Like, this guy literally fucking killed the guy because he scored an own goal in the World Cup. So, I mean, to me, I know you're a Kings fan, like a diehard Kings fan. So, what would you be like? What would be your reaction if
if your owner was
gangster,
a scumbag?
Yeah, like your owner's just a gangster and you just know it. And
I mean, as a Kings fan, we're still not over what happened in 2002 when we lost to the Lakers. That like is still haunts every Kings fan and even people that weren't even alive then. So like if I could let's say Colombian necktie Tim Donahue, or I would do that. I would set fire to Horry for making that shot. I'd burn him at his feet, maybe find his family. Um, yeah, I mean, you know, being a Kings fan is just a fucking nightmare, and it's been one for 20 years. But I also really like being an underdog more than I like enjoying rooting for a winning team. Like I have a Giants tattoo here, and I got it when I was 17 when they were losing, and then when they won a World Series, it was great. When they won the other one, it was okay, and then when they won the third one, you know, everyone's got a pink hat,
Yeah.
singing fucking Journey songs at the stadium. It's just not great. And then when you go like, I'm a Giants fan when they're winning, people go like, oh, are you a real Giants fan? Oh, okay. But when you go, I'm a Kings fan or some shit like that, or a Padres fan, people are like,
Hey,
okay,
yeah.
this person, like, I mean, you guys are actually pretty good now for first time in maybe my lifetime.
Yeah.
But you know,
And mine too, yeah.
Nah, I feel it, man. I mean, you guys have Fox now. I mean, promising guard.
Well, we'll
Yeah,
see how
I
long
mean,
it stays.
Halliburton-
Halliburton's good too.
Mhm.
Halliburton and Fox are good. Hopefully we can trade. I mean, I really thought this was going to be a year that we were going to be able to go to the playoffs, but we have taken such a nosedive after winning 8 of 9 games. And then I thought everything was good. And then, I mean, I just think Luke Walton is a ball of horseshit as a coach.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yes.
I'm hoping that we just blow up everybody. This draft looks pretty good. Maybe we can get Mobley or Cade Cunningham or Kuminga.
Mhm.
Hopefully we trade. Harrison Barnes has been incredible this year.
Mhm.
One of the best years I've seen him play, maybe in his whole career. So hopefully we can flip him for first round pick. Bagley's been doing better. I mean, he's still not good, but I think he can do better. Rashawn Holmes, hopefully we can keep him, re-sign him. Would love to get rid of Buddy Hield. I viscerally kind of hate Buddy Hield. The shots that he takes are fucking ridiculous. But if we can just flip a couple of these guys for some first round picks, I'm ready to. I've almost stopped watching the Kings game. I watched every single one, but then now it kind of happens when you probably a bad team like the Padres. It's like you're gung-ho for the
100%.
first 20, 30 games,
Yep.
and then you're just like, I've seen them get blown out by 20 over and over again. I don't need to watch this anymore.
My childhood, I have a bag of over 100 ticket stubs from Petco Park and Qualcomm Stadium games. Only one of them was a winning ticket. I've only seen the Padres
fucking
win
hilarious.
maximum 3 times in my lifetime.
Holy shit.
And I've gone to
funny.
hundreds of Padres games because my dad's boss when I was a kid would just had season tickets, so he would give them to the employees for the shitty games where the Padres are going to lose. Great seats. I saw Albert Pujols that hit a line drive into Chris Young's face. That was great. But, you know, the worst, the most painful losses. So right now, we can't even see them. That's the thing. We can't even see them. Hopefully, we'll be able to get
I feel
in.
like San Diego will open up pretty quick. You guys are
Yeah.
pretty red leaning, and I mean, you guys are pretty open almost the whole time. You guys only really shut down.
Yeah.
LA, fuck. I mean, there's no one in the city anymore. No one walks around. It's fucking a weird place to be right now.
Did you enjoy the product that the NBA had over the pandemic, the bubble?
Yeah, I thought it was really fun. It was like having a March Madness. You know, there's a ton of games to watch. It was enjoyable to see like TJ Warren and Jamal Murray flash for stuff that I'd never seen them do before or since. That say they might do it again. I mean, the bubble is just fun. I mean, it seems like it sucks for those guys to be there for 3 months, but
No.
definitely has a collegiate atmosphere, and I mean, remember that was like the first thing to come back, and there were no sports. So it was like that was like mainlining heroin, you know. I was just like hooked it up to a bag, and I was just like watching basketball for like fucking.
Yeah, no, I made the mistake of watching Korean baseball.
I think if you
Yeah, they were trying to push Korean baseball. I remember that.
I mean, the pandemic got so bad that we started watching marble races. Like at one
They're
point.
Marvel races.
Marble. Sorry, his
Marble,
English isn't
marble,
well.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's canicas.
Yeah, canicas. But anyway, I mean, yeah, I think if they do the NBA bubble right now, I think a lot of players are just not gonna give a fuck, like Lou Williams did, and just dip out of the bubble, go to a strip club.
Yeah, at this point, hey, he got his wings. Like now he's a legend in that strip club. Like that man can walk into that strip club and just say yes. Which one would you? Yes, let's go ahead. But
but people like got mad at him, and it's like, how good are those wings? Maybe we should all be finding out how good are those wings that you're willing
That's
to
true.
risk that.
exactly,
That's what I want to know.
exactly.
Lemon pepper. I think it was where were they? Florida. That's more of an Atlanta thing.
But I think you're
But
close enough to there where the
yeah.
the extra wetness of it is gonna be just perfect. How you like them?
Yeah, you got to go wet. I don't really like dry lemon pepper. I like wet lemon pepper.
Yeah.
Also, I don't ever want baked wings or grilled wings. I want fried wings.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what are we doing if we were not going all the way? Like, if you're gonna fake eat wings, cauliflower wings, don't even fucking get me started. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
I mean, wings in the lap dance. Who doesn't want that?
That is pretty good.
That sounds pretty dope.
I haven't been a huge strip club guy though. I remember I went to the Hong Kong club in Tijuana.
So you
Well,
had some Chinese food, as we say here.
Yeah. But I'm not a prostitute guy, so I just kind of sat and like just watched everything, which the strippers are not fans of. But you know, I was like, I'll buy 2 buckets of beer. Just stop talking to me. Yeah, I can't wait. I would love to know some of the spots to go.
Yeah,
in
my
Tijuana.
brother's a regular there.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not.
Not lately, obviously. But
Okay, good.
not
Good for
lately,
that.
but before the COVID.
But tell me about. I know. Obviously, big basketball fan, video game guy. NBA Jam. Was that your jam or was it not? And if so, how much was it? How influential was that for you? Formative, even.
NBA Jam was cool. I remember. Yeah, I wasn't a huge NBA Jam guy. I was really big into the Madden 95 and then when NBA Live came out. But NBA Jam was cool. I was an only child, so I never really had anyone to play with. So like playing a game that's just 2-on-2 wasn't that much fun. When I was a kid, I more like did franchise mode and tried to do all that kind of shit. But NBA Jam's good. I used to love what was that one on maybe it was Xbox 360 NBA Playground? NBA Street?
NBA Street or NBA
Street
Ballers?
Street Ballers?
NBA Ballers, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, those were pretty good, I remember. That was a lot of fun. I think it was Street. Or was it Ballers?
Let me see if I can pull it up right here.
I feel like both those came out during a time where like video game. Oh yeah, Ballers. Fuck yeah, that game was tight.
Fuck yeah.
Oh yeah.
You could soup up your guy so much on that. Yeah, that game was so fun. That came out during a time where like remember like dub edition of everything was coming out.
Oh yeah,
sweet dub edition and like everything and like that game pretty much was dub edition. It was just like rims and guys dunking on shit with chains. It was excellent.
Which was perfect. Like the arcade NFL Blitz. They got incredibly violent. Is the best. Like
FIFA Street.
The bomb. Just do the bomb every time. You'll probably be okay.
Like it's that's what I think. Like video games now they look great, realistic, whatever you want. But I'm playing a game. I kind of miss like the glitches, the incredible plays, the unreal factor of me playing a video game. Like that's what made it cool. Is that you're playing and you're doing crazy plays. I don't want to have to go through penalties in Madden. I don't want to have to go through, wow, like this guy's legitimately injured. Oh, we're going to take, 50 timeouts in a
great.
Yeah.
It'd be great if they just had a mode in the game where you could do it like, NFL Blitz mode where you could tackle guys after the whistle, people caught on fire. I feel like it wouldn't be that much harder to do, but also I know nothing and barely have a computer and barely just got a computer.
You mentioned you play FIFA. What's your thing on FIFA? Ultimate Team, or are you more for just
Ultimate Team stuff? I haven't got into it. I tried to get into it, but my knowledge of like all these players isn't high enough for me to know for Ultimate FIFA to be good. I can play the card, my team on NBA 2K because I pretty much know anyone that's done anything. But I'm like a weirdo. I'll do the what is that? The manager mode.
I'll
take a team from the lowest ranks of the Premier League and try to get them into the top of the Premier League, and then just like I'm scouting kids in Nicaragua and shit, and it's essentially just a game like mode where if you want to waste like 50 hours, it's a good one to do that with.
I once got, I think it was FIFA 2013. I got it all the way to the year 2020.
Like in game?
In game.
Oh shit!
Like I had play all the games.
I would play a lot of the games, like most of the games. At one point, I would simulate some of them, but at one point, my wing. I remember I had this winger. He had no picture anymore.
Yeah.
He was like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
21 years old, 6'7" or 6'5",
shit.
left winger, 90 something pace.
Yeah.
Like he was so fast and huge. I was like, he was Italian Falcone. I was like, is this guy even real?
I love how you're never gonna forget a
I'm
fake
never gonna
player's
forget that
name.
player. That fake player's name. I remember I
had
sold
two of
like Gareth Bell for him. I was like, dude.
I had two midfielders, 265. They're both from Norway, and it's just so fun to just play with these giant freaks. And just like chipping the ball to them, they're crushing it over like some defender that's like 5'3". It's just a good time. I mean, but it's like an extreme waste of time because no one ever wants to hear about your franchise mode, or it's like that's a word that's less interesting than a fantasy football team stats. You know what I mean?
But that's what we're here for, to hear about these things. We could not be more different though. I'm not that guy. I'm the guy that goes to career mode. I go ahead and go with Chelsea. I go ahead and sell all the players that have pissed me off during the season. I go ahead and do the financial takeover on top of that. So not only am I rich on rich on rich, I get to say fuck it. Get me Messi, get me Ronaldo, get me Neymar, get me Mbappe, get me this, get me
That's
that.
no fun.
It's
That's
the
not fun.
best.
Yeah, no, I hate
it's
that.
the best because you can score the best goals. And what I like to do is then I send my scout over to the poorest South American country, get me a 65 or 55 rated
start 'em.
16-year-old, and I start them around all these
No,
stars.
don't lie. You don't even do that. You do the find me a star thing.
Oh,
for the
even
scout.
better, even better. Find me a star. I'll send you to a fucking remote ass land. But yeah, that's my ultimate. That's my
Yeah, I love
career
doing that
mode.
one. I always focus on America pretty heavy because I end up being their World Cup coach and or manager, and then I do that. I feel like if you start with just finding a really good goalkeeper, you'll probably be good for most of the game.
You want to even waste more of your time? Do a player career mode.
Oh Jesus!
It will start out at like 67, and then whatever team. I mean, if you play in a Mexican team, you'll stay there. But if you play like Real Madrid or something, they'll loan you out the first season. Depends how well you play. You'll level up maybe to like 75. Go back to Real Madrid. They'll start playing you some more. If you play well, eventually you can retire and become a coach. By that time, everyone's pretty much like dead already.
Time out. You can
Yeah, you're just playing
retire and be a
bunch of weird
coach.
characters.
Yeah. Like I could,
I
there's an option right now, like retire and like be a coach at 17 or something.
Yeah, you can go pretty early, but yeah, that one is pretty fun. I've done that one. I normally do the MLS, and you can kind of go over when your contract's done, I think, or you can just like force go. I've never watched much Mexican league soccer. Isn't there like one forward right now from somewhere else that's crushing it? Like
Gignac,
not from Mexico?
he's French. Yeah, Gignac.
Yeah, the French guy.
Yeah, Gignac. Yeah, he's fucking killing it.
He's
just
like
a
big as
3-year
fuck
contract.
too, isn't he? Like way bigger than everybody else.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
He's buff. He's just fucking talented, man. He's
Probably the biggest dick in Mexico. Like the way he carries himself. Like just this is me.
he loves the culture though. He already learned. He already speaks like fluent Spanish, and I mean, he just loves it there. I think he already became the all-time scorer for his team.
That's
And he's
crazy.
been there for like what, 4 or 5 years.
I love Mexico, man. I fuck with Mexico a lot. I really want to go to Baja and that kind of the other side of Baja, whatever that little inlet is. I heard that's like a big like cartel place because it's nice, and I guess they make wine and shit there. Like Mazatlan, I heard Mazatlan's super shady too.
Yeah.
So I really want to go there. But
Yeah.
everyone, all my Mexican cousins are like, no, you can't go to Mazatlan. Like, but I just want ceviche. I just want fresh ceviche.
The freshest too. The freshest right there. Some El Dorados right off the Mazatlan beach. I mean, it doesn't get any better. It's like that's the thing. Cartels, they know what they want, and that's why Mazatlan exists. Like
Yeah.
they're gonna have the nicest shit. But speaking about MLS, and obviously you're from Sacramento. Do you follow Sacramento FC at all or Republic?
I did. I mean, as much as like it's a B League team, but I heard we got okayed, and we're gonna go to the MLS.
Bad news, man.
Bad news. It literally just happened last week. This is in this week.
The main sponsor
investor pulled out.
Yeah.
So you guys are not going to MLS, and you guys are staying in USL, and everybody is completely upset, very much upset.
Bummer. I know a lot of people that worked on that. It sells out, but I also just don't want to watch like guys that aren't the best play. But LAFC, started the same year I came to LA. So even though I'm from Sacramento and you're supposed to hate LA. I've kind of adopted LAFC as my MLS team.
See, I feel like that's the only LA team that nobody hates.
Yeah, I mean,
Everybody
Galaxy
hates
is
the Dodgers. Everybody hates the Lakers or the Clippers. Everybody hates everything
who hates the
except
Clippers?
LAFC.
Who the fuck? I'm a Clippers fan. Who the fuck hates the Clippers? We're just kind of, we've
I
been
hate
there.
I hate the Clippers.
All right, I'll give you that.
But
Yeah,
I'm
people hate
a
the
Lakers
Clippers
fan.
now because of the whole Paul George Kawhi thing, and then
Mm-hmm.
they started disliking him because Chris Paul just talks too much during a game. It's kind of irritating.
But damn, he's good in those State Farm commercials.
He's good on fucking Phoenix right now.
Yeah,
He changed
they're
that whole
fucking
place.
killing
Oh
it.
yeah, like
Fucking garbage.
no. What is this season in NBA talking back a little bit more? It's not as predictable. Hopefully, with Anthony Davis a little bit injured, and that might falter their season a little bit. But do you think it's going to be as predictable as everybody's been saying? And is it going to be the Lakers versus Brooklyn at the end, or what do you think is going to end up happening?
I think probably it will. I'm going to guess that they're going to stop playing LeBron so much. He's playing like in the high 30s of minutes. And they're probably just going to cruise for a little while because the standings don't really matter anymore, especially if you're, I mean, as long as the Lakers try not to go against the Clippers in one of the first rounds, I think they'll be fine. Anthony Davis has been pretty injured, not playing many games, but they've still been winning. Um, I think there's some big moves that a couple teams can do. I think a couple teams, I mean, if Harrison Barnes can go to somewhere pretty good, that's going to really change someone's outlook. Brooklyn is looking insane. Miami looks like shit. I mean, they've coming back, but they don't really look like the same team last year. I don't really know what's going on with Giannis. I mean, I thought by this point he would have been a little more dominant, and that would have translated to more wins, more important wins. Doesn't really seem like that's happening. In the East, it kind of just feels like the floor of the East has gotten higher, whereas other than Brooklyn, the ceiling kind of is in the same spot. And then the West, I don't see how anyone could really go against the Lakers at this point. The Nuggets aren't looking good. I don't think
No.
Utah could beat the Lakers in a 7-game series.
No, I think probably my favorite thing this season. I mean, I'm a huge Ball Brothers fan, except for LeVar. I mean, just because he talks so much shit. But I'm really happy how LaMelo's killing it this season. Just as a rookie, he's fucking killing it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little mad because I want Halliburton to win Rookie of the Year, and he was winning it up until the last couple of weeks when it seems like LaMelo has really taken off. And also, Lonzo's been pretty good. He's finally doing good. I was hoping that we were kind of going to trade for Lonzo for Buddy Hield, but it looks like now he's kind of kicking ass. And that team's constructed the Pelicans kind of weird, but the balls are good. The balls are looking better.
Yeah.
I mean, I think LaMelo is who we thought Lonzo was going to be.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, he clearly the most talented out of all three. I mean, sucks for Jello that he just didn't get to his potential. I mean,
Look, man, everybody was talking shit that it was only going to be Lonzo in the NBA and that, never going to happen. Two brothers. He said he was going to have all three brothers in his sons in the NBA.
Almost did.
He almost did. But, I don't know.
D'Angelo played for the summer team for the Pistons, I think.
Yeah, they offered him a contract, and then it was a
They
not
took it
guarantee anything that they just took it back.
He's too short, and he doesn't seem to really care enough. It's like 6'7". I just don't think he's big enough to play power forward or quick enough to play small forward.
Yeah, and then LaMelo's just 6'7", and he's a point guard. I mean,
LaMelo's sick. I mean, but he's been sick. He played on with the best Chino Hills team. Didn't he score 100 points in a high school game or some shit?
yeah, I think something like that. I mean, he's just. I mean, we'll see what happens, but I'm just a big fan of him.
Oh yeah, it's what's good in the NBA is the youth that's coming up too. You have great talent, and the old heads are also just embracing them. That's not something that always happens in all the sports. Look at baseball. Look at Tatis. Like he's bringing back the fun in baseball, and then you still have players themselves are like, this is not good for the game. This is not. No, it's great for the game. This is where it's going. This is where it's heading, and it's great that the NBA is doing it. Yeah.
Baseball just needs to adjust everything they're doing because everything they're doing is wrong. They're too overbearing on sharing clips and sharing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Their games are too long. They're trying to make it still be like it's for the old people. They're acting like they're holding all the cards and that everyone wants something from them. But realistically, their fans are fleeing. I don't have time to watch a baseball game anymore. To think that people would watch a double header
Yeah.
now is
Like,
one of the most
what?
insane things I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, and to let like if you have a double header and you have a day and you can spend it at the park, maybe I'll give it to you. Now you have the idea of why I say because we have Petco Park. I can't imagine like being in a double header up in Oakland, right? That's completely different. But the baseball, MLB has a giant problem on its hands, and it's people like you essentially who are a sports fan, giant sports fan. You are a Dodger supporter. You get to talk to shit because you won, but you don't know that much about the game, and that's where it's missing. That's the element that baseball really needs to just adjust.
That's why soccer's overtaking it.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, I would agree. And soccer is so short. Soccer is almost a finite amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to do a little over extra, but baseball could go like 5 hours. And it's just like, why am I playing this? I mean, I was a huge Giants guy forever. I don't know if I know anyone on their team anymore, and I have a tattoo on my arm.
That's telling.
I don't really know.
I think Pablo Sandoval was still there at some point.
Pablo came back last year.
Yeah.
Fat as fuck and looked like shit.
Yeah. Kind of gave us hope,
Yeah, it was kind of fun. It was fun. When he was good, it was fun. I mean, the panda, that was so good.
Yeah.
I had panda hat when I went there.
I was doing soccer, man. It's 45 minutes halves. I mean, you're only gonna have commercials for 15 minutes, and then that's it. If it's playoffs, goes to extra time. But even if you go to extra time, it's so exciting.
Yeah.
That you don't even care that it's extra 30 minutes. Then if it goes to PKs, you're like, fuck yeah, PKs, hell yeah, that's just dope.
I can't wait for the World Cup to come back because to me that was such a. I mean, I don't think we're in this one, right?
Well, we're on the road to qualification for the next one right now.
Cool. I remember that was such a unifying experience for me as an American when the World Cup soccer team was there. You go to a bar, and it's the first time you go to a bar where everyone wanted them to win, and everyone knew it was going, and the world stopped when we were there. And also, I'm fucking kind of super stoked on our team. I love Pulisic. I love Adams. I love Dest. I mean, some of the guys are a little bit failing. I love Rainier. I love all of our like Clint Dempsey at like 47 years old and Landon Donovan. And it's like now we have like actual starters on the biggest teams in the world.
Yeah.
And it feels awesome.
You mentioned Landon Donovan. He's actually best friends with Tony.
He's actually my best friend. He doesn't know it yet, but he's my best friend.
He's the head coach for the San Diego Loyal team, which is down here in San Diego. They're a USL team as well, just like Sacramento Republic.
You coach them?
Landon Donovan does.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Coach,
There's actually some stuff going on in that league. I never really respected it much, but it does sell out in Sacramento.
Yeah, it's actually it's a arguably a good not arguably it is a really good product just on field in itself because the quality is better than you think. It's not as good as you think, but it's better than you think, and it's entertaining. And
if you get a chance once the pandemic's over to go check out a live game,
we'll take you. Dude,
tacos, few beers, watching pro soccer, man.
And they got small arenas. Isn't that a big thing? So like the energy's crazy. Like I know in Sacramento, it's like they got the chants, they got the guys. They kind of do like that Seattle Sanders thing where they walk to the stadium in a big group. It's nice. Soccer seems very communal, which is fun.
Yeah.
Whereas, I guess a lot of sports are communal, but I've never really been in a city that everyone loved one team, and then the Kings have never been good. So not many people were like, stop the life of Sacramento to watch a game.
Yeah, no, like the perfect example is this last year was their first year, and they had a player from the Republic of Congo that spoke nothing but French. And somehow I was communicating with Instagram. I got to find out that he likes Chris Brown and Justin Bieber. So there's that, just off Google Translate. But no, like you throw this guy in the middle of a soccer field, he'll play with two English dudes, a Mexican dude, an American guy, and neither of them speak the same language. Yeah, that's the great thing about the sport itself.
That is really cool. And I never really understood that. I don't understand how I I mean, it just seems like playing a sport like soccer, but I guess it's just it's more of a vibe and a more of a mental, and you just kind of learn where the player is going to go. And as long as you go to the right place, you don't need to communicate. But I always find it so interesting that
Yeah.
you have a team of just international people that don't speak the same language and they still run together.
And it's crazy because I mean, in a sense, you know, obviously most of the people that go through the comedy store speak English, but there's so many different styles and so many different intricate parts of comedy that can be brought up. It's in a sense similar. I was gonna ask. Obviously, it's not such a secret, but there's a secret bar at the comedy store up in
Yeah.
LA. What are the sports conversations like in there, if any? And have you found yourself talking with other comics with it, or is that just not something that gets talked about? It's more of inside baseball with comedy, or you know, just shooting the shit and crazy
You know,
wild things.
it's definitely not. I mean, it could get wild on some nights, but it's not that crazy. It's kind of more like we don't really talk about sports back there, but I'll be back there and I'll just be talking to Sean Payton. I remember I talked to Sean Payton and he was talking about how he told them to draft Alvin Kamara and they
Oh
told him no. And he
shit.
was like, I told those motherfuckers he would be the best running back in the world.
Oh shit.
And it's just kind of like you're just hanging out with really famous people, but like there's just like a huge thing of like treat everybody like they're just normal. You're not to take any pictures. You're not to be like fan out of anybody. Like that's
Hmm.
kind of like the worst part is, and it's like a big faux pas, like when a comic, because if I got a girl with me or something, I'm like, hey, you want to go to the secret bar and I get a drink free and it's just a cool thing to do. And then you bring someone back there and then she sees someone she likes and she's like, can I take a picture and do all this stuff? And then
Oh
everyone
shit.
will look and be like, you gotta get the fuck out, bro.
Mm.
It's a great bar. It's very small. I mean, shit. If it's never too packed, if you guys ever go to a show, if you guys ever want to go show at the comedy store when it comes back, I'll get you free tickets, and maybe I could take you back there for a second and grab a beer.
We won't fangirl over everyone. We
Yeah,
promise.
just chill, and then we can get one thing
If
back there and
yeah.
get you some tickets. If you guys ever want to go to a show, I can do that. It's
Oh,
easy.
that'd be
It's
great.
not
If
out.
anything, we'll reject photos. Oh, you want a photo? No,
Yeah,
we're good.
if
Thank you.
anything, they're gonna be like,
No,
"You guys are
we're
two
good.
balls in the mic, right?"
Hey
And
guys.
we're like, "Hey, relax."
No,
No
no.
pictures, no pictures. They're like, we met with Johnny Depp. So,
The closest thing I've ever gone was I played at the Cat Club on the Sunset Strip at 4 p.m. on a Tuesday to an audience of two, and we played two songs, and they kicked us out.
what do you do?
I had a band like 10 years ago, and
Oh, fun.
that was the one of the only shows that we ever played, and we're like, all right, cool, fun experience. Pack it up. 3 hours back to San Diego.
Oh, I've done that. I've done that in comedy. And the worst part in comedy is I've done shows where I got paid, a couple $100 to go, and then the promoter didn't bring anybody. And there's two people, and they don't want me there. And he's like, "You're not going to get paid unless you do comedy." So then I got to do stand up for 45 minutes to know. I mean, when I do a college gig,
Mm-hmm.
so you'll do these college gigs, and you get a decent amount of money for one show, right? And people go like, "Oh, that's such a cool thing to do." But the problem is these college gigs, when you go, it's not like you're playing in the auditorium or you're playing somewhere cool. A lot of times they're set up by the student body. They're
Mm.
set up by just kids. So the kids don't know how to promote. They just put up a poster with your face on it. So I've had shows where I've gone, I had to do 45 minutes. No one was in the room. And I was in a cafeteria. But it's like, if you want the money, you got to do it. And hell gigs are there, but whenever I get a hell gig, I'll pretty much go through my jokes like they're a songbook and just go like, "Ba da ba da ba da ba da ba da ba da," and just go through it and get my check and get the fuck out of there.
Well, hopefully things are turning around pretty soon. I got my first vaccine yesterday, so I got the Fauci
Hey.
ouchie. So, hopefully it's the beginning of something that's gonna help ramp everything up because, man, like this is something that a reason why we started the Two Balls in a Comic section was because there's no shows. Comics like to talk interesting stories and it's an opportunity to meet and talk with some great people.
Oh, yeah.
I think you had the
Oh,
golden.
yeah. So we like to wrap up the show with a special question. We call it the golden ticket question. So this question is, if you had the golden tickets, like Willy Wonka style, you can choose any sporting event, any performance, whether it's a concert, anything you want from the past or present. You can't do future, obviously. what performance or sporting event would you like to attend live?
Just front row, wherever you want, on the field.
The coolest one I ever went to is I did go to 756, Barry Bonds breaking the home run record. My stepdad had the tickets and all of his friends bailed on him.
Wow.
So I was able to go all that. That was pretty fucking cool. I remember seeing it. He hit it. And then into the outfield, the stands, the ball went. And it looked like a wormhole had opened up because people jumped over each other into this thing. Just like whoosh, whoosh, all like that. It was like the craziest thing I ever saw. Man, what sporting event would I love to go to? Probably could think of one better if I get a little more time. A Kings one would be good. I mean, one of the Kings Western Conference championships. I mean, but we lost everything, so I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
A performance, I'd probably love to see maybe like Woodstock 69 or something if I had like my own private booth and it was like nice and I got to see everyone like.
You get one set to watch at Woodstock. Who do you watch?
I don't know, man. Probably I don't know. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Hendrix is
Jimi Hendrix.
mine.
I was pretty sick
Yeah.
when Jimi Hendrix was there and he was on acid and lit his guitar on fire and then did the Star Spangled Banner.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
No, it's definitely a one of my top performances. I wish I was there for that one. Just in the mud. Seems like fun, right? We want to go ahead and thank you, Steve, again for your time. And if you want to go ahead and let everybody know where they can go ahead and find you, the podcast, where they can check that out, and anything else that you're on.
Thanks, guys, for having me on. Really appreciate it. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram at Scuba Steve Fuery, I post a bunch of stand-up clips and sketches. And then make sure you check out my new podcast, World on Drugs with Steve Fuery. I do a video version on YouTube, and I'm working on that, kind of getting videos better in the back. You can see pictures of people I'm talking about. Otherwise, Spotify, Stitcher, anything like that, check it out. Give me a comment, like, and review. Tell me about it. It's a work in progress. Love to hear about you. Guys, thanks for having me on. Hopefully I see you again. And hopefully we have tacos in San Diego or I see you in LA.
Yeah, 100%.